really distressing for fellow Catholics and myself once you hear it. Because you're told during the election season, every 2 or 4 years that you only have two choices, right? It's the Simpson, vote for whoever you want. It's a two-party system. What is it, Kang and Krotos? I believe that's a reference, but it's a bad reference, but it's a reference. You're told every 2 and 4 years, especially if you're a Catholic, and my evangelical brothers and sisters who have always been better at pulling the lever for pro-life candidates. I always have to throw that in there. But nowadays, in the last couple election cycles, Catholics have really started to, gather up, at least in the big ones, to push for, hey, we need protections for the unborn and things like that. Case in point, when Trump said he was going to support the bill in Florida that would have done something with abortions, I forget what it is off the top. He got a lot of pushback from a lot of Catholics saying you can't do this. Of course, those same Catholics shut up when he signed an executive order on IVF, but that's a different story for a different time, ladies and gentlemen, not to talk about that. But you're told you need to vote for one of these two parties. You must do that. If you don't vote for the Republicans, babies will die. And on one part, it is true. There is truth to that. Babies will die because Democrats will come in and they will put in all kinds of obscene laws that you've seen in places like California or New York, or even my home state of Rhode Island. They pretty much they make you fund abortions. And so we feel if you want to participate in the process, you have no choice as a Catholic but to vote for Republicans, because you can't vote for Democrats because Democrats are evil. Sorry, hate to say it, but it's a fact. But then you get headlines like this one. Some moderate Republicans voice opposition to defunding Planned Parenthood at closed-door meeting, by Catherine Hamilton of Breitbart.com. Several moderate Republicans, and that's your first clue about how this is not going to go well, moderate Republicans voiced opposition to defunding Planned Parenthood in a reconciliation package during a closed-door meeting with House Speaker Mike Johnson and House Minority Leader Steve Scalise Tuesday. Notice, I don't even know what notice is, citing sources familiar with the matter. Many Republicans and pro-life groups have been pushing the GOP to use budget reconciliation to cut Medicaid funding to Planned Parenthood, which performs abortions and provides quote-unquote other services. More abortions. While the Hyde Amendment bars taxpayer funds for paying specifically for abortions, opponents are against providing any funding to a group that performs them, as they should. One source told the outlet that Rep. Mike Lawler, Representative of New York, and Brian Fitzpatrick, Representative of Pennsylvania, and Ken Kiggins, which is a great name for Virginia, are among the moderate Republicans who told the House leadership they are opposed to cutting federal fundings to the abortion giant in a reconciliation bill. And this is the problem, because there's two things that have happened here. One, the left has successfully brainwashed every liberal white woman and even moderate women of all races and ages that if you cut money to reproductive care, as they successfully recrafted the narrative, remember, it was just about abortion. Then it was, oh, no, reproductive care. It's reproductive care. Reproductive rights, which is just right to an abortion. When you drill down, you got to get through the first layer of the parfait before you actually get to what they do. But most people don't want to get through the first layer. Well, maybe a parfait, but the actual question, they don't want to get to this. They want to just say, oh, well, people should have rights to reproductive health. Well, what is reproductive health? And of course, the left has kind of bundled in IVF and some other things that have nothing to do with it into this. And then they threw an abortion and say, well, if you get rid of reproductive health, then you're getting rid of IVF and all these other things, which, by the way, the Catholic Church is against because of a variety of reasons. IVF it's against the natural order. It enables child trafficking to same-sex couples and all kinds of graphic and awful things in that regard. But when you have the message that we have lost the message. The only time we really even saw the message being pushed correctly was with Trump in 2016. And it was the third debate when they were talking about it, and they was like, third care abortions when they rip the baby out of the womb. And Hillary Clinton didn't know what to do because nobody had actually ever talked about what an abortion in the third trimester was. And she was just shocked because there's no retort to the actual fact that abortion is murder, that it is the murder of young babies, innocent babies in the womb. And as Catholics, we cannot support this kind of stuff. In New York, supposedly a Catholic state, really because of New York City, but, Cardinal Dolan, who's too busy playing kingmaker and not advising his flock on how to actually vote. I don't hate Dolan, but I wish he was more vocal in his opposition to these things. I got like a whisker here. It's killing me. And so that's the problem when you have these moderate there's no moderate Democrats. I mean, there are a couple. Don't get me wrong. There are a couple, but when it comes down to it, when, Hakeem Jeffries or Nancy Pelosi or any of these people say, get in line, guess what? They get in line. They don't say no to them. Unlike Republicans who are like, I don't know. So as you can see right here, these three quote unquote Republicans, which probably, of course, they don't have to do this anymore because they took, what do they call it? They took pro-life positions out of the plank of the GOP party in 2020. Nobody knew. No, it was either in 2020 or 2024. And nobody really talked about that. Anyway, Johnson told Notice while leaving his office that discussions about defunding Planned Parenthood was not on our agenda. Johnson notably said at a gala last week from the Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America that the reconciliation bill is, quote, going to redirect funds away from big abortion. So once again, Mike Johnson talking a big game, but then you get the argument of, well, we don't want to lose the seats because if we lose the seats, then the Democrats will come in and they'll just do whatever. But at the same time, the agenda that you're being supported of is not being fulfilled. So, of course, that's the game that Republicans have to play. Other Republicans were cautious when Notice asked them about the topic. According to the report, quote, that was sort of a closed-door discussion. I'm not going to go into that now, said Jeffrey Van Drew of New Jersey, who used to be a Democrat. Fitzpatrick said before the meeting, Republicans need to, quote unquote, need simplicity in the reconciliation bill, and that he said it was planning to bring the issue up at the meeting. He also contended Republicans should be focused on other policies because who cares about the right of babies when we have GDP that we must get taken care of. And this is the problem, man. When you're like a religious person, myself a Catholic, anybody here watching, when you're a religious person, these values, oh, here we go. Planned Parenthood does a lot more than abortions. You should talk to some women at some time. Are you going to call me an incel next? Because that's fantastic, because Planned Parenthood gets most of its money and aborts and murders children. Now, are you going to say that the Plan B pill is the other thing? And you're going to, or maybe you'll say mammograms or some other kind of nonsense. Get that nonsense out of here. Don't even try that. I mean, you're welcome to your opinion, LH. This opinion is wrong. It's cowardly, wrong, and it covers up the murder of children. So, oh, yes, of course. So all right, I will be generous. I will be gracious in this. Let me just say this. Let me say this. If we just defunded the abortion part, because I think that's what they're saying. Hey, we want to defund the money that goes to abortions, and you can keep Planned Parenthood, but you can only do pap smears, gyno exams. You can do all that stuff, but you can't abort a baby. Do you think they would do that? You don't know, because they've already been asked that question. They said, we won't do that. We will continue to murder children. No, it's only nonsense if you are really into the murder of children, because that's the baseline of what Planned Parenthood does. The organization was founded by Margaret Sanger, who is 100% into the extermination of certain types of people within the population. You can't have that heritage and then tell me pap smears. But hey, that's cool, man. Or lady. I don't know who you are. LH is a very androgynous handle. But that aside, Republicans and people of faith need to push on their representatives, and they need to support their representatives, because the fact of the matter is this: if they don't go to Washington and do what they said they would do for you, then all they're doing is filling a chair. And some people are okay with that because they don't want murderous Democrats to come in and push all the agenda that they want, which is the murder and death of children. They celebrate it. And so it is what it is in that regard. It's pretty sad to see Republicans once again cower in the face of anything and not actually have a spine, which ironically enough led to the election of Trump in the first place because they thought he had a spine. But now it seems like he has backpedaled away from that. Melania Trump did the same thing in the 2024 election and so forth. It's kind of nuts.